Hi guys, welcome back. Tisha here, reviewing SWV and Xscape, the Queens of R&B, Season 1, Episode 3. I'm going to be honest with you, if you're a Tasha or Rockhead fan, this is not where you want to be because I don't like them and I'm probably going to go in a little bit about them. We start the episode seeing all the moms momming. We then go to Nashville where we see Tasha and Taj meeting up at the National Museum of African American Music. She's in Nashville, which Taj does not know this at the time because she just came from her meeting with Motown Gospel. Taj, while looking at a picture of Destiny's Child, brings up how when they used to have performances in Houston, that Destiny's Child would come to their hotel and just sit with them. They would hang out with them. They would watch them sign autographs and things of that nature. And it's so ironic how now we know that Destiny's Child has become even bigger that's why you always have to watch how you treat people. Taj then walks Tasha to Xscape's area, and Tasha talks about how great it is to be a part of history. And as she's looking at this wall, you can see that her energy shifts. Taj asks her what's the problem with the group right now, and Tasha tells her that the problem is that Tamika body shamed her and was disrespectful to their mom. She keeps going on with this body shaming thing, and it wasn't all of that. And I'm tired of her playing the victim. Tasha says it can't be just that. She said that there are some other things. And my question is, even if you do feel like she was disrespectful to your mom and that she body shamed you, why are you punishing the group? What does that have to do with the group? Taj says that she can tell that it's deeper than that. It's more deeper than she even realized it was, but Tasha is being vague. We then hear Tasha letting Taj know that she had a solo meeting, and that she's planning on stepping out on her own. And I find it interesting that you told someone who is not a member of your group before you were even willing to tell any member of your group. She says that she wants this solo deal and that she doesn't like being boxed in. And in my opinion, I feel like gospel will have you a little boxed in as well. Just my opinion, because there's certain things you're not going to be able to do as a gospel artist if that's what you're trying to do. This is an example of why we continue to see some of the group members having an issue with Tasha, because Tasha does sneaky things, especially when it comes to her and Rockhead. We then see Coco and her friends meet up. She jokes around about being 52 years old with 20-year-old goodies, and Coco is beautiful. She even looks prettier in person, honestly. We see her talk about how she was diagnosed as being bipolar and having depression, and how she knew that it was bad when she was to the point where she thought about killing someone. Once she got to that point, she felt like she needed to get some help. And I feel like it's so transparent of her to even admit all of that. Coco has this air about her that makes her kind of seem, I think, on the show, like she doesn't want to deal with stuff and she might be better than, but I don't see it as that. I feel like sometimes when people have been through certain things and when they're going through things, that they go on protection mode. And I believe that is what we've seen in the past from her, because we do remember that her and her ex-husband, they were having some problems and she went through some things with him. So I think we're going to see like a more lighthearted side of Coco as exhibited by her, hanging out with her friends. Friends talk about how good she looks. And that's basically the gist of that. Tamika meets with her mother. I had to pause for a second because this scene really made me mad because I still don't feel like there's resolve. As Tamika's mother walks in my opinion, her energy is very off-putting. She asks Tamika, like, are you okay? But the tone of it isn't like, are you genuinely concerned about her being okay? It seemed like that question came from like, are you okay? Like you had a nervous breakdown and you know a demon was in you and something's wrong with you. So I just want to know, like, are you okay mentally? That's the way it came across to me. Like there's something that is wrong with her rather than her really being concerned if her daughter's feelings were hurt or if she's okay. She tells her mother that she's glad to see her. Her mother asks if she's sure, and then Tamika says, yes, I'm sure, and she says, I'm happy to see you too. Her mother is very passive aggressive to me, and I feel like if you really care about your daughter, if you really love your daughter, then you have to go into this a little bit better than her mother did. Her mother then proceeds to tell her that the last time that they talked, she didn't like it. It broke her heart and it broke her sister's heart as well. I need for you to go into this, Mom, not thinking about Tasha, but thinking about Tamika, because you're at Tamika's house. And if we're clear, Tamika's the one who was crying and whose feelings were hurt. Tasha is an actress, a bad one, but she's an actress, and we know that you're going to take her side. Her mother wants to know what's going on with Tamika, Tasha, and her. Tamika begins to talk, and as she's talking, she interrupts her, but she continues to talk, and she says that you're always showing favoritism towards Tasha, and she does. We saw it in the last episode. She asks her in what way, and she says, you basically allow my sister to express herself without interrupting her. You take sides, and you always treat her differently than me. The mother says, I allow her to express herself because she doesn't come at me and she's not disrespectful. I hate when older people automatically say that if you're saying something that you don't agree with, that the child is being disrespectful. And I say this as a parent who has a child who is a teenager. And I've had to check myself sometimes because he's expressing how he's feeling. And just because his opinion may not line up with mine does not mean that it's disrespectful, as long as he's watching his tone. Now, if there's a certain tone and you're doing other things with it, then okay, I'll give it to you. But the young lady was sitting there crying, expressing to you that she'd been betrayed by her sister and by her husband, and that you take sides. And what you did in that moment is exactly what she said, where you took sides. So stop saying that it was disrespectful, because it really wasn't. Maybe she was disrespectful because she was cursing in front of her mother, but I don't think she was disrespectful for airing out her sister. Tamika lets her mother know that when it comes to Xscape's business, that she is not the fifth member. Her mother starts yelling at her, saying that she is the fifth member and she is the bridge. And I feel like she is the problem. She is the fifth member that is the problem. She is the third wheel between her daughters. She is the common denominator that causes strife because she picks sides. She said, I am the fifth member when I first put that microphone in your hands. I was the fifth member when your daddy walked out on me. I continue to be the fifth member when we were struggling. What does her father walking out on you have to do with Xscape? I'll wait. In confessional, Tamika makes an excuse for her mom, saying that they had to struggle a lot after her dad left, and she doesn't think that her mother has healed from that. That's not a reason for her to treat you the way that she does, Tamika. It's not. I'm tired of us creating excuses for our parents because they have not healed and done the work. With the money that you guys have brought in, The least that your mother could do is go get some help. Where is Ayana? Well, I don't want to call Dr. Phil because Dr. Phil be too soft on people. Where is Ayana when we need her? Or someone else that is going to hold these people to task because it's ridiculous. Tamika says that one of the reasons why she feels like her mother has been so hard on her is because she not only is a daddy's girl, but she resembles her father. So your mother resents you because your father walked out. You look like your dad and you know it, but your mother isn't willing to admit it. So I feel like there's no point in even having the conversation if your mom can't really address what the problem is. But we'll keep going. Her mother continues to say, well, not say, yell, that she is the silent member, that she has kept her and Tasha together when she's really been a part of the division. I'm not going to forget the fact that last episode she sat there while Tamika was talking and saying that Tamika is just jealous. And I don't understand what she's supposed to be jealous of, because if we're being honest, Tamika has a better voice than Tasha. We can agree to disagree, but her voice is better. I feel like Tamika has held back a lot because she's always been told that her sister is the better one. And I feel like now that her sister isn't actively going on tour with the group, that she's being able to shine a little bit more. And I'm happy for her. The mother talks about how she brought up the money thing and talked about Rocky, and she don't see how she can sleep at night. Real easily. I mean, she's not asleep. You can tell she's hurt, but real easily, because they did it. And the fact that you know that they did it, and I'm starting to think that you might have played a part in it too, because why are you protecting them? She says, Mom, you continue to go harder for them than you are for me. She said, I wish that you would just go as hard for me. I've been getting beat up my whole life. Her mother sees her crying, grabs her face kind of aggressively, tells her to look at her, says that she loves her, says that if you feel like I've been more of a mom to your sister than you, I'm sorry. And when you tell someone that, I feel like you're not validating their feelings, because you're not saying, I'm sorry that I did this. You said, if you feel, meaning there's a possibility that you just going off your feelings and you're not going off reality. When Mom, you're just going off your feelings with your response and you're not really taking a look at the bigger picture. They hug. Her mom's not going to change. Next, we see Taj meet up with Candy, where Candy reminds us that her and Taj were very close at one point. She asks Taj how her trip to Africa was, because SWV went to perform in Africa because they are booked and busy. And she says she enjoyed it. Taj tells Candy that she ran into Tasha because Tasha was in Nashville. Candy looks a little perplexed. She told her that she said she was looking around for a solo thing, a gospel thing, I believe she said. I don't know if she said all that, but she let her know that she was there for a meeting, a solo meeting. And I don't understand why this has to be told by Taj. Tasha, sometimes it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. And later on, we hear Tiny bring up how, it's fine for you to go meet with other people, but why can't you do both? Why can't you be honest with your group members and let them know what it is? And this is why. Candy explained it. Candy says she did the same thing last time. She started acting differently because she had something else on the table. She said that basically she's just stringing them along. And I agree. Taj says that she's hoping that they can still do it regardless if she decides to do it or not. And Candy says, yeah, the show needs to go on regardless. We then see Lily and her son sitting at a bar. Lily says that her and her kids have friendly moments, but they're not her kids. They talk about grinding, working hard, when I say that. She says that because of all the things that she went through when the group broke up, that she's basically trying to make sure she has multiple streams of income. And one of those things that she's looking into is erotic stories. She talks about her alter ego. She talks about her son being a rapper and how great he is, and how one of the things that he needs to do is to make sure that he keeps pushing, because that's going to be what propels him. She talks about sleeping in the car after the group ended. She reminds her son of all this and tells him that it's all a process. I love Lily, but we've heard this story a lot, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about what she said, but her goal is to make sure that she never is back in that situation where she's broke because the group decides to stop performing. We see Tasha at the studio singing, practicing her song, adding some more stuff to it. She says that the studio is her safe haven, and if the studio has been such a safe haven for you, why don't you have out more music? There are people who have had less opportunities and less money do more than what you've done in this time that you guys have been split apart. But that's Candy's fault, right? As I see her singing, I can't help but feeling like that this was all planned. She probably even pushed it more so because she knew that they were going to be back on TV. So yes, she is utilizing the opportunity as anyone should, but she also continues to play in her group's faces because she should have given them a little knowledge about this. Rocky then comes in dancing, being the clown that he is. I am not a fan. He always makes us skeptical of himself, in my opinion, which is part of the reason why she probably didn't get another record deal, since she continues to allow him to be her manager. Tasha lets Rockhead know that she got a text from Candy about meeting SWV. Rockhead asks her if she's going and if what's going on with Tamika is affecting her. He goes, I know it's affecting you. I'm not trying to hear that. He wants to know if she thinks that Tamika wants to work it out. How would she know that? But then again says that she obviously can't, since she's accusing him of taking the money. Tamika, if you aren't going to sue them, I need you to please drop proof of what they did. Because him saying that he forgives you is further playing in your face. He's done so much damage and continues to do damage. And I just want you to put him on blast. You've decided that you're not going to sue him. So the least you can do is show us the proof, because I really want you to shut him up. He then asks her if she talked to Xscape about what she's doing as far as the gospel deal, when you know that y'all talk about everything and you know that she has not said anything to them. Why y'all keep lying in our faces and trying to create a scene? She claims that she's going to keep quiet because she wants to make sure that it goes through, because in the past she's talked about things and it hasn't gone through. So she wants to see that once it's signed, then she wants to tell them. But you can give them a heads up. You can tell them that you're thinking about doing something solo. You want to shop around, so you're not sure if you'll be able to lock into anything. You can tell them these things. A considerate person would have done that rather than blindsiding them, especially if this is what happened previously. He tells her that she should go to the meeting, grab the microphone, and remind them who she is. She can sing, but we're not going to act like the rest of her group members can't sing as well, or that the other people who are there can't sing as well. This is further proof of why her head is so big. Her husband and her mama make her head big, We then go to Coco and her son, Jalen. He's singing. She walks in. He lets her know that he doesn't want to go back to school. She says you're supposed to be a dentist. He said he doesn't want to sacrifice his happiness to make everyone else happy. She says, oh, you tell your grandma, thinking that she was going to get somebody on her side. He calls grandma crying, saying he doesn't want to do it. And grandma says, like, there's a lot that you don't know. You need to sit on my lap and we need to have a talk. And he says, well, maybe he could just take a year off and they can go from there. And grandma agreed. Coco talks about how different she is with him, and that's a grandparent's job. One thing I can say about the three of them is they do have a very close relationship. You can tell, you can see it. They all look alike. And the fact that she included the mother in on the discussion shows that. At the end of the day, does Coco have the final say so? Yes, because she could pull that you living in this house, you do what I say thing. But I feel like Coco is going to listen to her son despite her misgivings and make sure that he is happy. We then see the ladies getting ready for their meeting, but they're having practice. After they're done singing, their manager basically lets them know, and by their manager, I'm talking about SWV's manager, because we have yet to see Xscape's, lets them know that they need to lock in a date, decide whether or not they're going to do this or keep it moving, because they do have other gigs. And at this point, they're going to be a month out, and they need to make sure that they get the word out, and et cetera, et cetera. And Xscape is holding them up. All the ladies come in, including Tasha. They talk about what's it going to look like. SWV's manager says that he feels like they should all co-headline, and Candy stops him and says that Xscape feels like they should, and I don't agree. Tiny brings up that her and Candy alone will bring in more fans because they've been on TV, and a lot of people associate them being on TV with wanting to see them. That may be true, but if that's the case, then does that mean that each member in your group gets paid differently? I feel like for this initial thing, just to see what it looks like, you all should make sure that you co-headline. It's only fair. If you decide to do stuff further on out, then you could switch it up. Maybe you different cities, you have different people who headline. Maybe at this first event, you do a poll where people unanimously put in who they wanted to see more. But I don't feel like just because you're on TV a lot, that means that everybody wants to come to just see you guys. Because I'll be honest, I prefer SWV's music over Xscape's. Xscape's has certain songs that I like, but I rather listen to SWV any day than Xscape. Tosh says that Xscape didn't headline until they came back. That in the 90s, they were not headlining their shows. That when they left and came back, and Tiny and Candy were better known names, then that's when they started headlining. Coco says that she's ready to go. She don't want to hear the back and forth. She doesn't see a problem with them co-headlining. Coco said, we sold more records than them. We've done 30 million records. And that basically it doesn't feel right. Tosh said it did come across as disrespect, and I agree. Coco says if they can't agree, then there doesn't need to be a show. Agreed. I feel like there's so much that we're missing, and that there's so much that's been filmed, that the amount of episodes that they have for us to see are not going to be enough, because we, the people, want more. I really, really want Rockhead to go away, and I want his wife to go away too. Tasha is walking around doing these interviews where she's continuing to play victim, where she's continuing to talk about Candy and the things of the past. And at this point, I don't care. I don't want to talk about what happened to you all the first time. I want to talk about what's going on now. Two things I want to talk about. Where's your sister's money? And are you in or are you out? Because in my opinion, stop letting her decide when she wants to pick you guys back up as a group. The three of you have been out here on tour, and from what I understand, you've been doing a phenomenal job. I've seen some of the clips. You look good, you sound good, can't even tell that your sister's not there. So with that being said, let her go. Let her go. Because she wants to do gospel. She doesn't need y'all. She's continuing to be connected to Rocky. She's continuing to allow Rocky in her business. All the other husbands seem to stay out of it. We see them in little clips here and there, but I feel like we've seen Rocky and Todd the most. And I'm not watching to see them. I don't have anything against Todd, but that's not what we're watching for. We're watching to see SWV and Xscape. Tiny, you're right in saying that you guys do bring a draw, but if that's the case, get paid more than your other group members or figure out a different way to do that. But to sit there and try to say that you wanted to headline, that's really an insult to SWV. Just my opinion. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Until next time.